Hi guys, welcome. My name is Dave Coker. Today we're going to talk about common interview questions that you might get hit with. And what we're going to do is we'll talk about what the interviewer is really trying to do, what they're trying to draw out of you. And I'll give you some tips on how to answer, and more importantly, I'll give you some advice on how to not mess up, because we all mess up. Now, this is all based upon my experience working at Deutsche Bank, Moody's, and ABN AMRO, and hiring people. And if you haven't already watched my other video on interviewing, please look at it. They're sort of back to back. Let's go. All right, first question, a classic. Why do you want to work here? Now, what they're doing, guys, is they're trying to make sure that you research the company, you research the role, and you definitely want this position at this firm. So you need to come up with a specific answer based upon, as I described in my prior video, the research you do about both the company and the role. If you give a generic answer, it's not going to work. It will cause you some issues. So please do some homework before you go in. All right, another icebreaker. Tell me about yourself. Guys, don't recite your CV. Be concise and to the point. Your goal here is to give them a 15 to 30-second answer and get them to ask a follow-up question. In the States, we've got an expression, less is more. All right, why should we hire you? Now, guys, what they're doing here is they're trying to understand, can you sell yourself? Get over these illusions about sales. Life is a sales pitch. You need to master a concise sales pitch that you can present to potential employers to get to the next hurdle. How'd you hear about the job? It's another warm-up question, guys. You do need a good answer for it. So if you got it through an agency, talk about the agency, talk about the recruiter, talk about what attracted you to the job. If you found out about it on your own, make sure they know about this. And if you did the research that I suggested in my earlier interviewing video, you're in good shape to handle this question. What are your strengths? Now, guys, don't do an encyclopedic list of your strengths. Remember, you have to research the company and the job. So select strengths that focus on how well suited you are for this position. What are your weaknesses? Now, do not pitch a strength as a weakness. A lot of people do it. It doesn't work. What you want to do is identify a real weakness you have and explain to them how you're working to correct it. They'll appreciate your honesty. Tell me about a time you failed. Okay, now what they're doing here, guys, is they're testing whether you failed before, your resilience, and how you grew from the experience. You need to have specific stories. Be as clear as possible and focus on what you learned. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Now, what they're doing here, guys, is they're trying to see how ambitious you are and whether that aligns with the job and the growth prospects of the company. So keep those factors in mind when you answer. How do you handle stress? Guys, everybody gets stressed. Don't try to tell them you never get stressed. Make sure you come up with 1 or 2 ways that you deal with stress. Could be something as simple as seeing a movie, talking with your partner, whatever. What motivates you? Now, guys, do not say something like money. What you want to do is you want to talk about things that are consistent with the company's goals and the goals as you perceive them for this position. That's the best approach. What is your leadership style? Now, guys, in corporations, everybody's expected to lead at some point in time. So be specific. Talk about a project where you led the team of students. How did you motivate them? What worked? How do you handle conflict? Now, guys, conflict's a fact of life. The correct way to handle conflict is productively and engineering a win-win. So talk about what you did, talk about how you handled it in a productive way. What are your hobbies? Now, guys, this is a great question when you get asked it. When I raise this question, it's because we're about to shortlist a candidate. We want to see socially what they're about. So be honest with them and tell them what you like to do in your spare time. Anything else to tell us about yourself? Guys, you have to give an answer here. What you want to do is you want to come up with an answer that's specific for the job and the company and how excited you are to be considered for it. Do you have any questions? Now remember, guys, I mentioned you have to research both the company and the role. And during your interview, you're going to get specific information about the job. So come up with a unique question.